Good evening. Estonia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Tbilisi, Uzbekistan, all areas of frequently violent ethnic unrest in the Soviet Union, and the problem is escalating. Tonight, Soviet leader Gorbachev made a rare appearance on national television to appeal for an end to ethnic unrest. And as Jim Laurie reports, he offered a carrot and a stick.
In an unusual television address, the Soviet president spoke as a leader increasingly frustrated by his inability to end persistent outbreaks of ethnic unrest. Gorbachev spoke of the mounting danger of unrest which threatens the unity of the Soviet Union. Alluding to recent violence in Uzbekistan, where special military units were called in to quell clashes among Muslims, Gorbachev warned he'd take decisive measures against those who, as Gorbachev put it, are playing with fire by provoking violence. At the same time, he appealed for harmony and understanding. He sympathized with small groups like the Turkish minorities in Uzbekistan who've recently been forced into refugee camps. Gorbachev said all people must be guaranteed equal rights in their homeland. The Gorbachev speech set the stage for an important meeting of the Communist Party Central Committee later this month. But what was apparent in tonight's address is that there is no easy solution and no clear-cut Gorbachev program. A brutal military crackdown on unrest, as in Georgia in April, only leads to deep resentment and increased calls for autonomy. And throughout the nation, from the Baltics to the Caucasus, the cries for independence and a different way of life from that imposed by Moscow are simply growing louder. Cries that will take more than Gorbachev's appeal to silence. Jim Laurie, ABC News, Moscow.
Poland's experiment in trying a different way of life through partially democratic elections has hit a major snag. Today, Solidarity leader Lech Wałęsa said he doesn't want to run for president, at least not this time around. And since communist leader General Jaruzelski has already bowed out of the running, as of tonight, there are no candidates. And the National Assembly is supposed to elect a new president next week. The story from Jerry King.
As Lech Wałęsa put it, Poland is having to improvise. Today, Solidarity's newly elected members of the National Assembly debated their strategy in the wake of the decision yesterday by Poland's communist leader Wojciech Jaruzelski not to run for president. There was even some discussion of Wałęsa pursuing that post. It was quickly squelched.
We don't think that Lech Wałęsa should be the president in a system which is not fully democratic.
So, Solidarity is as up in the air as the Communist Party. Prior agreements implied the president should be from the party, but it failed even after a 10-hour meeting yesterday to settle on a candidate. And the impasse has to be straightened out quickly. Both the Communist Party and Solidarity want to have a president and a prime minister and a government which can officially accept any help offered by President Bush. And the president arrives next weekend. In the past, such a challenge to communist domination would have provoked dire warnings of a Soviet military intervention. Not today. The Soviets were actually pulling out some troops, 400 soldiers, 26 tanks, stationed for 20 years near the borders with East Germany and Czechoslovakia. Their withdrawal to the Soviet Union pleased many Poles in the area. This young man said he hoped to live to see no Soviet troops here. Said this merchant with a smile, I've never seen a Soviet soldier leave anywhere. They just go into the forest, and in the night they come back. But leave they did. Given Poland's unprecedented political mess, even this small Soviet withdrawal is considered a blessing. Jerry King, ABC News, Warsaw.